Hello, this is Dale Wahl with the Digital Methods Initiative, and I will be showing you how to install ForCat on a Mac today. We start off at our GitHub site, github.com/digitalmethodsinitiative/ForCat. This is where we keep actually the open source software. We also have our wiki, which you can use to read about more different data sources, processors, if you'd like to be contributing as a developer. There's other things such as discussions where you could talk about new data sources you're interested in or analyses you'd like to do and the type of research you're working on, as well as issues for bug reports and if you'd like to request new features. But we'll be doing an in-depth review of how to install. There's a quick little how-to here to sort of remind you, but the detail is in our wiki through that link. First step is to get Docker and install it. Docker can allow ForCat to run on a Mac, a Windows, Linux, whatever you need. Just download what's appropriate for you, which I already did, and then you'll have a file in your downloads. On Mac, you just double click it and drag it into the applications folder, which I also already did. To run it, you can just hit Command space to find Docker and click Run. It pops up down here and it should show up here as well. It's a little whale. You can right click that or double click to open up the dashboard and see what it's doing. It's starting. That's what we're looking for. In the meantime, we can go back to our installation information right here, and we need two files: the docker compose.yaml file, which is located here, and the .env file located here. So open that. Here's the file, and you can just click and save page as. Once it's saved in my downloads, I'm going to create a new folder for ForCat. Great. Save it here. And then the env file. Now this file, I believe on Mac, it likes to rename it. So we'll have to do a little something to rename that. Save page as. Wants to name it index.env. And I don't want it that. Docker's going to look for this .env file. It's a system file, so it's going to make sure that you're allowed to do that. If it doesn't, and then you have to name it as a text, that's okay. I'll show you how to deal with that. Okay, Docker's up and running. That's great. I'm going to open up a terminal. Again, you can use Command space and just type in terminal and open up this. It's going to start out in your user folder. If you downloaded it to downloads, that should be in there. And then ForCat CD for change directory, downloads ForCat. All right, I'm going to use ls to see what's in this folder to list the items. This needs to be named just .env. That's what Docker's looking for. So I'm going to type env for move, .env, change that file to .env. We can actually update that file real quick. ls doesn't show because it's hidden, ls/a, and you can see that the files are correct. I'm going to open my Finder and just go back to this env file. And you may be interested in updating, your database password or anything like that, but you don't have to. You can also update this port. 80 is the easiest, but you may have, if you have other things running on your computer that are browser applications, they may already be using that. This Docker tag, stable, signifies the latest version. Right now it's 1.29, but we're about to release 1.30. And if you use stable, it's always going to download the latest version. There's also a latest tag, which is just our most recent commits. So it may have bugs, but also fixes in it, and it's our development branch. So you could change it to that if you're looking for something that hasn't been pushed to a release. All right, back in the terminal, We know the files are there. You can just type docker compose up/d. D is for detach, otherwise it runs in the terminal. It's kind of annoying. All right, it's going to pull, download it from Docker Hub, and then it will start it up and install it. All right, it has now been created and started. You can check right here, and voila. You'll see forcat, and you can drop down to see it's actually in 3 different containers: database, backend, and front end. Now, if you go to your browser and just type in http://localhost. Sometimes you have to be patient. Particularly on the first run, what I did there is just open up to see the logs. This is running, as well as the front end. Great. So, for the first time, I had an old user that Firefox remembered. I would like to keep that password for admin. This is your setup page. You can click here to let us know that you've installed it. I'm not going to message myself that I've installed it. And then create your account. Ask you to log in. Bob's not there. Admin is. Voila. Takes you to create a new data set, as you don't have any. So you probably want to start there. There are some interesting things. You have a control panel that will show you what's running over here, anything that should be running or is queued to run. These will always be queued. You can add users, and if you have users, you can add notifications to them. There's also restart and upgrade. You'll get a pop-up when a new upgrade is released, but you can click here and restart it through the interface, but there'll also be an upgrade if upgrade is available. And you can also see data source settings for individual data sources that you can activate or deactivate. There's a lot of options. And then you can also see the general settings for things like how many images you'd like to be able to download, or how big can you download videos, or just different things like that, as well as some special processors that require additional information like Pixplot or an OCR server. All right. You also, it's good to know that in Docker, if you want to start, forcat, you can now do it in here. You don't need the terminal anymore. And there will be logs. If you do have issues and you're wondering what's going on, you can click on these and it will tell you additional information about what's going on, either the back end, or which is most likely if a processor's hung up or something, you'll see something there, or in the front end if a page won't load or something like that. That's all. I hope you enjoy, and let us know if you have any issues.